We have another Ulf Andersson special here from a very solid and easy to play position. It looks like it's going to be reminiscent of game one, but double fianchetto. And it's interesting to me, modern theory suggests d4, queen takes, and you can potentially swing the queen over to f4, h4, even come back to d2. Ulf is satisfied again with equality. He just looks to develop his pieces. And the engine gives close to 0.00 here. He's given black the opportunity. Black plays d5. Since white isn't going to play d4, black does it. Knight takes, of course. We don't want to have to deal with any sort of pin. And it looks like black got the better end of the deal with the queen coming into the center. But dark square bishop is gone. That was the bishop around the king, so typically the fianchetto bishop is better. What would you do here with white? Well, if we wait, black is going to play e5 in some positions, and he's got that Moronxy bind. He's got a grip. Ulf plays d4. No bind for you. We get a symmetrical pawn structure. The only thing that's different is the developed knight on d4. And again, we have another position of why I like Ulf so much. Seems like nothing, but constant pressure and a focus on the grind is going to get the win from this simple position. And this is Andersson, Robuch, 1979. Black should be looking for activity here. This next simple move, slight inaccuracy, is what I feel costs him the game. So what would you do with black here? Right? I feel that rook d8. Try to get some activity. Very important to cover key squares. And on knight b5, going after the a pawn, black goes here. And Ulf would definitely play this, but it's equal. His opponent, though, in the main game, plays a6. Well, black still hasn't finished development. I just want the c7 square. All right, you stop me. Well, I still want key squares. And I'm just going to play rook c2. Cover all my base pawns, get ready to double rooks potentially. Stay flexible. If I play rook d1, e5 is a potential issue in some positions. I mean, of course, we have tactics to protect us at the moment, but I want my rooks doubled. So I'm just going to go e3. Well, black wants activity. We hit the pawn. Critical moment. How do we improve our position here? What's the plan? I believe if you do not find the correct plan here, you are not going to win the game. All right, hopefully you took some time. g4. An absolutely critical move and counterintuitive. Don't move the pawns in front of the king after you it's an endgame. We want to play g5 at some point in order to alter the structure and create targets. If the e-pawn moves, our knight gets back to d4, where it can never be kicked out. Brilliant, and based off of just wanting to improve our position. Rook d6, finally getting The double. Now. Black wants to play knight c5. So we stop him. Keep an eye on the base pawn. Rook on a7's tied down. Knight on d7's tied down. Oh, excuse me. Only the king can move. Let's improve. Knight d2. Hard to suggest a move for black. Looks like paralysis to me. And your opponent can't do anything. Slow improvements. Torture them. Because most of the time when I play, we'll say sub 2200, sub masters, if you get them in a position where you're squeezing them like this, they can't stand it. So they are going to lash out and do something to change the position and make their situation even worse. It's a quicksand principle, if you will. They're going to thrash. The other end is the boa constrictor Karpov style of chess. b4 takes away the c5 square. What are you going to do with black? Rook b8. Okay. If you move the rook, knight d5 is going to come in. I'm either hitting the f pawn or the b pawn or both at some point. There's the thrash. Check. I don't want your pawns to be working together well, but you can improve my king. You can capture. I'll take with the king. E-pawn's weak. We could easily see after a capture, king's going to jockey. Then the knight's going to move around. Then that pawn's going to fall. Black decides to try h5. Well, now we have a direct path anyway. Gotta defend. And there's nothing that can be done about more pawns falling, as black's pieces are completely tied down. Our king can step over, take the f-pawn, and eventually the e-pawn. Easy to understand why black resigned. Another simple game. You could see how it requires patience to play these games. And move 15, a6, one slight inaccuracy cost the whole game. One moment of weakness. And that's what it's like at a high level. All it takes is one bad move to ruin hours of work.